Hello and happy holidays to everyone. I am Amber. I'm the founder and the chief food genius at Food Literacy Center. And today we are going to make a gorgeous recipe that is bright and colorful as well as super flavorful. You guys are gonna love this one. It is making my stomach growl already just thinking about it. We're making a Za'atar spiced root vegetable hummus bowl, and you can find all of our recipes at foodliteracycenter.org/recipe, and you can follow along and cook with me. So the fun thing about this dish is I have a friend who's a farmer at Route 64 here in Sacramento, and right now at the end of fall, beginning of winter, what's coming out of the ground are tons of root vegetables. And this dish, doesn't matter what your favorite root vegetable is, hopefully you'll try a new one. You can put them all together in this delicious dish that makes an amazing meal. So let's get started. I'm going to show you a couple fun ways to cut your root vegetables. So I'm going to use all kinds of stuff. I'm going to use a plain everyday radish, little red radish, and we're going to be using our tunnel a lot for this recipe. That's a good, safe way to cut all of these. So I'm going to start cutting all of my veggies. And look how beautiful. As soon as you cut into that, you've got red on the outside and this creamy white on the inside, where the color on the outside is just bleeding in. This is gonna be so pretty, you guys. I'm gonna start dropping all of my veggies into a bowl, and our recipe calls for 3 pounds of root vegetables. How much is 3 pounds? About a bowlful. So grab a bowl, and we'll start putting our veggies in there. So I'm gonna use, like I said, I'm gonna use a combination of everything from radishes to carrots. And see how this guy has a little tail on him? I'm gonna go ahead and leave that on. Now you can cut your veggies in whatever shape or size you want. I think it's really fun and cool to have these weird, fun little tails and roots hanging off of the root vegetable. And quite frankly, it's less prep work. So do as much prep or as little prep as you like. I'm gonna do it the fast way. So I'm just cutting the tiny radishes in half. For something bigger like this beet, I am gonna go ahead and peel it because you could leave the peel on. I personally don't love the outside of the beet as much. Something like a potato skin, for some reason I find more appealing than a beet skin. More appealing, get it? So I'm gonna go ahead and peel the skin off of my root vegetable here, my beet. But if you'll see, I did not cut off the root. I left the tops on, and you can see the remnants here where the beet leaves were growing. You could even leave a bit of those on if you wanted. Mine were not pretty anymore, so I cut them off. But if yours are nice and bright and fresh, you could even leave those on, and they will crunch up and give you kind of another fun texture in this dish. So I'm peeling. Get rid of all that skin on there, and you know, beets are just such a great color. So we're gonna, you know, if you've got a yellow beet, a red beet, purple beet, does not matter what color your beets are here, guys. In fact, the more color, the better, because these are such gorgeous colors in the middle of winter when the sun isn't with us as often. It really makes my day personally. I hope it does for you to see all this great color. So again, using our tunnel, we're gonna just start cutting this big guy. And see how fun it looks when you cut the beet like that. And you can still see the roots and the top. So now I'm gonna lay him flat so he doesn't roll. And again with my tunnel. And I'm gonna try to get these into about 1 inch thick, or a little thinner even. I like mine to cook a little bit faster. Also, I've preheated the oven to 425, so hopefully you did that as well. So you'll see that I'm slicing these fairly thin. If you slice them thicker, they're going to take longer to cook. I like to eat in a hurry because I'm always hungry. So I'm gonna cut mine nice and thin so that they cook pretty quickly. So I keep finding a flat side and then using my claw, make another cut, and then I make these nice thin little pieces and I throw those in my bowl. So that's how we're gonna cut this beet. And yeah, so what part of the plant are we using in our recipe today? We're only using one part of a plant. We're all roots today. So now we're gonna move on to another vegetable that I think is fun. We're gonna go with a sweet potato. Whoop, almost lost something there. So here's, doesn't matter what shape it's in, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm cutting it all the way down the middle for a long, fun slice. Oh my gosh, look at the color, you guys. We are just using nothing but color today. Finding a flat side, and then I'm cutting more nice, thin slices using my claw. And right now, I'm using the claw. Before I was using the tunnel. Whoop. Tunnel to cut them down the middle. Now I've got them cut down the middle. Claw. Making these nice thin slices. Whoop. Chop that end off a little bit there. Didn't want to let them free. All right. Now I've got some sweet potato in there. I'm even going to use a regular potato. You can use those, and if you have a favorite root vegetable, use more of that. If you have a root vegetable in here you've never tried before, this is a fun time to use it because they're all gonna get thrown into the same pot and you can still see what's what. So it's a fun way. If you like a vegetable raw, it's gonna have a different flavor. Once it's roasted, it's gonna get caramelized and it's gonna be a little sweeter. And if you think you don't like something when it's raw, you might like it better when it's sweeter. So we're also using turnips, we're using radishes, we're using, look at the color in here. Smells so good. We're using potatoes, sweet potatoes. We're using purple, we're using magenta, we're using orange. Every color that we can think of we're using, and we're just leaving these weird tops and these weird roots because it's gonna look so cool when they cook. So now I have some real tiny carrots, all kinds of squiggly patterns here. This little guy is so tiny, I'm just gonna throw it in there. This one's a little thicker, so I'm gonna use my tunnel and I'm just gonna slice it in half, throw that in. So you can, see if your carrots, look at this weird one. That's gonna be perfect in this dish. Whoop, the weirder, the better. So I'm gonna cut them using my tunnel. We're almost ready to get cooking. So that's basically what you're gonna do with your 3 pounds of veggies. You're gonna slice and dice, and you're gonna basically give yourself about a bowl full. We're gonna use onion, we're gonna use beets, carrots, radishes, turnips, potatoes, sweet potatoes, you name it. All right, so now we've got our veggies cut, and you can also put these into cubes. Again, like I said, I like this way because I think it's really pretty. Now, our recipe calls for about 1/4 cup of olive oil once you have all of your veggies cut. Now, I would say to eyeball that, so 2 tablespoons is half of 1/4 cup. There's 4 tablespoons in 1/4 cup. So I'm gonna start with half because my bowl might be a little bit smaller. So I'm just showing you how you can kind of eyeball these things and what 2 tablespoons looks like with this many vegetables. And then we're just gonna toss. You can toss it like I am, or you could use a spoon and stir. But you just want to make sure that all of your veggies get coated in this olive oil. See how nice and glossy they are now? That's all that olive oil. So Now we're gonna take our pan. I'm using a little bit smaller pan today for the purposes of TV, because I didn't think you would want me to cut vegetables for 20 minutes. So now we're gonna lay these out on our pan, like so. And we are gonna take a tiny bit of salt and just sprinkle just a pinch. But it does need a little salt. And we've sprinkled that with salt. Some of my potatoes don't want to, there we go. Make sure everybody separates and gets apart here. So now this is going into the oven. Look at the color, you guys. It's just gonna get better from here. So we're gonna throw these in our 425 degree oven. All right, while those are cooking, we're gonna prep the rest of our ingredients. We've gotta get a little bit of fresh herbs that we're gonna use at the end of the recipe, but I wanna get those prepped now while my veggies are roasting. We're gonna set a timer for 20 minutes right now, because our veggies just went in the oven. So I'm gonna take, this is parsley, fresh parsley, and you know, it's a nice kind of grassy scent. So fresh, smells like freshly cut grass. So I'm gonna take that, and I'm gonna, sorry, I've got a little beet dirt. So I'm gonna take a big pinch of parsley. I'm gonna use my claw, and being careful here, and just finely chop that. You can kind of get your other hand out of there so you're safe, and you can kind of rock your knife across those herbs. And then I have a little bowl. I'm gonna always use the back side of your knife when you're scraping, because you do not want to make your knife dull if you're scraping across your cutting board. So I'm gonna throw that in there, and then I also want a big handful of cilantro. Another herb that would be amazing in this recipe is dill. That's got such great flavor, especially with the Za'atar spice that we're about to add. So again, using your claw, get your hand out of there if you want to make it even finer. You could use a food chopper for this. That's another good tool. There's my roast vegetables rocking in my oven. So here we have all of our beautiful, fresh, diced herbs. We're gonna set those aside because we want those in just a minute. All right, now I want to show you what these Za'atar spices are. So you can buy these fairly cheaply at any Mediterranean market. I'm gonna show you, and the range of Za'atar spices, this is a favorite in the Middle East, and you can find a wide range of these spices. Everybody has their own favorite recipe, kind of like a chili spice or a pizza seasoning spice. Everybody has their own blend that they like. So you can go to the store and you can buy for like $4 this giant jar, a pound of Za'atar spice. And I've got 2 different ones here to show you. And so this one, for example, if I'm reading the label, it's got thyme leaves, roasted sesame, roasted wheat, coriander seeds, anise seeds, and chili. And then this one has a totally different blend. It has thyme, sumac, roasted sesame, roasted wheat, salt, caraway seeds, dill seeds, turmeric. So every one is a little bit different, but the sort of 3 main staples of a great Za'atar spice would be sumac. So this is, I'll show it to you. It's a bright red color, and not as red as the beets on my hand, but it's a bright red color, and it's very tangy. That tang is important in Za'atar spice. You also want that earthy, woodsy flavor. Za'atar is actually an herb that grows, and you use it dried. And so here we have, in California, the good equivalent might be oregano. These use thyme. So any of those sort of woodsy kinds of dried leaves, oregano, thyme, those are both good substitutes. And so that's another flavor that you want in there. And then I have sesame seeds. So that gives this nutty flavor that is also really prominent in this particular Za'atar spice. So that's our spice palette. There's a recipe for making your own Za'atar spice. You can just throw all of those spices into a jar and keep those, it won't last long. We have a jar like this at our house, and we throw it on top of hummus. Anytime we eat the hummus, we pour some fresh olive oil and za'atar on there. Super tasty. All right, so I'm gonna check on our vegetables through the magic of TV. I actually had another batch already ready. So here are my warm roasted root vegetables. I left these in for about 30 minutes. Check them after 20 and sort of stir them around. Make sure they're not sticking to the bottom of the pan. And then you can take a fork to see if they are done. So if your fork, and here's a potato, thick potato. So that went through really, and look at how caramelized on the bottom that is. So that's what you're looking for. You're just gonna take your fork and stick it through a few vegetables. Easy peasy, not giving me any resistance. That means my veggies are done. And look at that colorful palette. So this is about to be our lunch. I am getting so hungry. So what we're gonna do is we're going to take our bowl that we previously had the olive oil in, and we're gonna put all of our beautiful root vegetables into that same bowl, because all it has in there is olive oil. We love olive oil. It's another star of this recipe. We're gonna scrape all this root vegetable goodness. You guys, it smells amazing in here. You can smell the onion, the garlic, the sweet potato, the carrot. You can smell it all. So we're gonna throw those hot veggies into this bowl, and we're gonna use our za'atar spice. I'm gonna suggest that you start with a teaspoon. You know, you can always add more. You can never take away and add less. So start with a teaspoon, sprinkle that all over. I'm gonna go for 2 because I know already that I love it and I want a lot. So we're gonna sprinkle that za'atar seasoning, and then we're gonna shake. You can stir, but you wanna get that za'atar spice all throughout your veggies. Oh yeah. Now, I'm gonna take a bowl of warm hummus. You can just pop some hummus into, last week we made a beet hummus. That would be a great hummus to use. You can use traditional hummus like I have here. Pop it in the microwave for 30 seconds to a minute. You don't want it, think of warming it like refried beans. That's about the temperature that you want it. You don't need it soup temperature. You want it just nice and warm, so it's not got that cold refrigerated feel. Now, another fun way to do this is to take a little half teaspoon and sprinkle the za'atar on top of your hummus. I think it tastes super good that way. Take a high quality olive oil. We're using Cobram olive oil. We love their stuff. You need a high quality one. Drizzle it all around like you would a good bowl of hummus. I'm gonna put a little bit more in there. And then we are gonna scoop these beautiful veggies around our bowl. Look at this coming together. So we have our roasted root veggies hanging out. Look at the color on these. Now, I also want to add a tiny bit of citrus. It just brings out the flavor of all of the elements of this dish. This is not in your recipe. I decided to add this later, so you can always adjust. But I'm just gonna squeeze some fresh lemon juice on there. Lemons are starting to ripen here in the Sacramento area. They go so well with this dish. Take my seeds out. And now, for those fresh herbs that we chopped earlier, make sure they're all blended together. We're just gonna take a pinch of those on top. And this is our finished lunch. I'm so hungry. You could also put a soft boiled egg on top of here. I cannot wait to try this, you guys. I'm gonna go with a beautiful carrot, and I'm just gonna dredge that through that hummus. Okay. Yum. Oh. delicious vegetable. The cumin, the sumac, and that Za'atar spice. The nice nutty hummus, bright lemon, all the fresh herbs. This has everything that makes a delicious, filling, and happy lunch. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed our recipes. Please follow along with us at foodliteracycenter.org and click that orange button and make a donation so that kids in low-income schools can continue to receive all of our lessons so that they can learn to cook and fall in love with vegetables to protect their health. Have a safe, healthy, and highly delicious holiday.